Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review slash first impression of the new L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion foundation. I decided to finally buy it today and I wanted to do a first impression slash review for you from the point of view of a person who has more dry skin, because I see a lot of reviews out there from people who have combination to oily skin and they end up not really liking it that much for their own skin type. So since I do have mostly dry skin, I do get kind of oily sometimes in the summer around my T-zone, but for the most part it's dry. I thought that it would be kind of nice to show you guys a review on this foundation from someone who does have more dry skin. I bought this foundation in Canada today for, I think it was $24.99 or something before tax. After tax it ended up being like $27 and something cents, which is kind of ridiculous for a drugstore foundation in my opinion. That just seems like way too expensive, and especially because you only get half of a fluid ounce in the packaging, which really is not that much, but they did say that a little bit goes a long way. So I'm hoping that this does last a pretty decent amount of time, but we shall see. Before we get into the video, I just want to say hi to anybody who's new to my channel. If you have not already clicked that subscribe button below, then please do so if you want to keep up with all of my future uploads, and you can also follow me on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. I will have them listed on the video somewhere here and then also in the description box below. But anyways, if you guys want to see my review slash first impression of the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion foundation, then just keep watching. So I'm assuming by now everybody already knows what the packaging looks like, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it is really pretty. I love the rose gold, and it's actually a lot lighter than what I was expecting it to be. Inside you get 0.51 fluid ounces, but I guess since there's not that much product in here, then that's probably why it's so light, because apparently you don't actually need to use that much. A little bit goes a long way from what I hear, and if you guys are curious how much half of a fluid ounce is, I have this, which is 1 fluid ounce, so you basically get like half of however much is in this. So I got my Lumi Cushion foundation in the shade N2 Classic Ivory because I am extremely pale right now and I live in Canada, and going into spring it will rain a lot, so I probably won't be seeing the sun too often. But moving on, when you open up the packaging you have a mirror, which is actually like a pretty good sized mirror, and then one of these little sponges that you can, I guess, use. I'm gonna use this on one side of my face because I will likely never use this again once I use it in this video. It just seems not very hygienic, and I don't know if you can wash these or not, but I prefer to use beauty blenders and brushes anyways that I know that I can clean. So after this video I probably won't be using this anymore at all. And I think the color will be nice. It looks like it could be a little bit too dark for me, but we shall see. So I'm actually already just wearing a little bit of moisturizer on my face. I typically just use some sort of moisturizer as a primer anyways, especially just for everyday use, and I'm not going to use like another type of a primer because I kind of just want to see how the foundation works pretty much on its own. And another thing is, if you're using this for the first time, you don't have to press that hard, which is why I didn't get that much product on the sponge, because I've seen people who press really hard and they get way too much foundation on the sponge. So I just tapped it twice, like pretty lightly, and you still get like a decent amount. It says to just tap on your face and then blend it, and you can build coverage with the sponge. So let's see how that works. Okay, this color is perfect. So that is what one thin layer looks like. I obviously don't have too many like blemishes or anything to cover up, which is why I was very excited to try this one, because I did hear that it does give a very sheer but buildable coverage. So I'll go ahead and just put on a second light layer just to see if it makes a difference. I don't really expect it to make that big of a difference anyways. It's not a huge difference, but you definitely can notice that it looks a little bit more opaque on my skin. It definitely still has a very dewy finish, which is something that I love in foundations, and it looks like really nice skin. Like, it doesn't look fake or cakey or anything, especially around my nose, which is where I get a lot of really dry skin. Now I'm going to apply the foundation to this side of my face using a beauty blender. Okay, so I definitely think that it is buildable, but only to like a certain extent, obviously. I don't usually like a very high coverage foundation anyways. It is extremely blendable though. I found that a little bit definitely goes a long way. You really don't need to put too much on your sponge or beauty blender or brush or whatever you're gonna use. It does not look cakey whatsoever, and it's super glowy and dewy, which is something that I love. Like I keep saying, in a foundation, I think it looks so nice and natural, especially for an everyday kind of foundation. I'm really happy with this so far. I'm just going to apply a tiny bit of face powder just to set it, because even though I do like a dewy finish, I still like to set everything with a face powder. But before I do that, I'm going to use a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes and then set it with my Becca Mineral Powder Foundation, which does not give a very high coverage or anything, but I just really like the way that it looks on top of foundation. Even with a little bit of powder on top, it still has like a dewy kind of glow, which is really good. And I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then I will check back in a second. Okay, so it is currently 4:17 in the evening, and I'm gonna check back probably around 9:30 just to show you guys what it looks like, and hopefully I will still be liking it by then. And I'm back. It is currently 9:20 in the evening, and my makeup actually still looks really good. I've had dinner in the time that I was gone, so most of the foundation around my mouth is pretty much completely gone, which is something that I was expecting anyways. I also touch my like lower face a lot for some reason, so that's the first part of my face that I notice that I lose most of my foundation anyways. I can definitely still see my blush and some of my highlighter still, so that's a really good sign. It doesn't look cakey at all in any areas. It hasn't like clinged on to dry patches, which is great. It hasn't settled into like any fine lines or anything, and it is the tiniest bit. There was a fly. Like I was saying, it is the tiniest bit shiny in like my T-zone area, just like a tiny bit. It's nothing too dramatic or anything. I think if I were to just add a tiny bit of powder, if I were going to keep the makeup on for longer, then I'm sure it would fix it. You guys probably can't even notice it because my skin is usually pretty dry anyways. But overall, I really liked this foundation as a whole. I think it's great, especially for everyday. I don't think it would be good for people with oily skin or for people with like problematic skin who need to cover a lot more. This is definitely great for people who have, I would say, combination to dry skin. It definitely suits the more dry skin way better, I would assume. So yeah, hopefully my little review and first impressions has helped some of you guys out, especially for those who have dry skin who are hoping to find somebody's reaction with similar skin to the Lumi Cushion foundation. I really liked it, so hopefully I did help somebody out with this. But that will be all for today's video, so please make sure you subscribe to my channel before you go if you haven't already, and also give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and if you found it helpful, and I guess I will just see you guys in my next video. Bye!